Good morning and welcome to the market forecast. Today is Friday. Yes, finally Friday, June the 11th. I'm John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. As always, we are looking for accurate context, good risk management, and to remain patient in our trading this morning. No real major economic output today. 9 o'clock, the Michigan sentiment, consumer sentiment, is due out. Not expected to be too impactful. As far as what's going on in the world right now, U.S. equity futures are at or near all-time highs. Investors agreeing with the Fed that the inflation numbers that we saw yesterday are not going to last. Now I think the focus is going to be on next Wednesday's Fed meeting. There's always something on the calendar that we're looking forward to seeing and hopefully profiting from. There's still hopes for a bipartisan infrastructure bill. They're looking at about $1.2 trillion in spending over the next 8 years if they can come to an agreement. Crude prices pushed yet higher after a statement by OPEC yesterday that recent global economic growth, hence oil demand, is expecting to gain momentum in the second half of the year. So we got crude oil continuing its march to the upside. It's got me wondering, boy, it's a $9 move, pretty much straight, bottom left to top right. It's Friday. Maybe we'll see a little bit of profit taking in there, but got to trade what we see. Make sure you like, share, comment, question, feedback, and heckle at will. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications when we do go live. Make sure you smash that like button and checking the VIX, the dollar index, and the 10-year yield just a few minutes ago. VIX is down 3% this morning. Things are looking pretty good for equities. 1556, been that low for a while. Dollar index pretty much holding steady at 90.31, and the 10-year yield off a little bit this morning at 1.46%. As always, I got to say hello to everybody. I saw Brian first in the room. You win the prize, Brian. H, good morning. Bill, good morning. Theo, Tone, Clarence, Lamus, Trading Research. Clarence coming back to join the team next month. Feeling grateful for the time off. Clarence, it's good to see you again. Welcome back. Looking forward to seeing your success. Subconscious 1000, James, good morning. Imanu, Ednelson, Greg, Andres, Jim, Brad Generous, I love that name. Happy Friday to you as well. Deanna, JB, good morning. Finally made it live. Usually listen after. Thanks so much. Nice job, JB. Very happy for your success. Just dance with the one you brung. Stick in your process. We're looking forward to seeing you making some money. George McAdams. The chef is here. Mike Magallanes, Colin, Hennock. My brother Rick, you're here. Good to see you. Mr. Shine's Mystery Channel, good to see you as well. MSS Capital, Jason, Jay Gilmo, Richie, Tim, Chris, Frederico, Vlad, and Vici. Good morning to you all. So as we come into our Friday, I'm reminded it is rollover. We are trading September in the equities and in the currencies this morning. Make sure you've made that switch. Volume is greater in September now than in the June contract. And I'm also reminded to try and stay patient. If you've had a good week, make some money this morning, take the afternoon off, go play golf, go to the beach, go do something fun. Let's jump in and see what we're seeing in these charts this morning. As usual, starting with the daily in crude. Here we go. So, $9 move. It's bottom left to top right. So we've been wrestling with last week's high quite a bit this week. It's been somewhat magnetic. Finally, we're seeing a bit of support there in the overnight. It is a $9 move straight up. Friday, rollover next week for crude. We're not finished with rollovers ever, it seems, and I'm looking forward to the end of rollover for our equities. Volume has maintained a pretty decent volume yesterday after a look below last week's high. We lost 4,400 in open interest yesterday. That's interesting. We're looking for higher volume and higher open interest as we move to the upside. So perhaps a little bit of a sign that we may be in line for somewhat of a little pullback here. Now, it would make sense to me on a Friday before rollover that we might see a little bit of profit taking, but that's just to me. Who knows what our traders are going to be doing? So this morning offers us an opportunity really to try and stay patient. No overnight position. Settlement is 70.29. Put that on your charts. We're inside value. Overnight, just kind of spanning value. A little long, a little short, a little long. Opening pretty much at settlement indicates there's no real good information or anything we can use against our overnight competitors. Inside value, patience. Just stay patient. Opportunities may come at the extremes from overnight. Value high, value low from yesterday. I'm going to stay real chill here in crude oil, at least early in the session here. See if we find some direction. See if we can catch it. And September S&Ps. How resilient are our equities? So resilient, we continue to move higher even under a threat of inflation. New all-time high in the regular trading hour session yesterday, looking like it might be a new all-time high here this morning. Volume was is split now between the September and the June contract. It's hard to make an accurate assessment as to how good the auction is doing during rollover by using volume. Adding 82,000 in open interest yesterday, also a function of rollover, not new longs. New short time frame, probably open interest boost. So here we are. We're in the teeth of rollover and potentially becoming more directional to the upside. We closed above it yesterday, above weekly closed at really weekly kickoff high. We've used weekly kickoff high for support this morning. We seem to be pushing to the upside. What does it look like on the 30-minute chart? So we've got some mild longs. Settlement is really one tick off weekly kickoff high, one tick below it. Very magnetic towards settlement last night. Perhaps we're getting a little bit long here this morning. Looks like we're going to be opening outside of value, but inside of range. This is our all-time high in the regular trading hour session. We're going to take that out today? Looks kind of probable. And again, I'm not looking for any huge moves because it's rollover. So I'm going to be reasonable with profit expectations and looking for opportunities to limit my risk. All about risk limitation this morning. Take a look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's got a nice boost here above weekly kickoff high. Still yet to take out the all-time high, which again I believe was in the overnight session. In a second. So yeah, contract highs are in sight. The June contract high was 14,064. The September 14,050. 050 is the contract high. The all-time high is 14,064. So we'll be keeping an eye out for the all-time high today to be somewhat of a visual target. Again, we've got a lot of blur in volume and open interest due to rollover. We added 10,000 contracts in estimated addition in open interest yesterday. Again, rollover related, more than likely. So we've got a kind of a medium time frame upside momentum and upside move here that is maintaining structure. We are looking at all-time highs. When we look at, as traders, when we look at a specific level, we tend to make price go there. So I'm kind of looking for a move to take out that previous all-time high. Here's the 30-minute chart. Okay, yesterday was a pretty good directional move in the Nasdaq. Kind of surprising for rollover, but settlement is up here, 13,950.75. Put that on your charts, closing right at the highs yesterday. Looks like we're going to be opening with a gap. If we can't close that gap relatively early, we're off to the races. Maybe. Because I still think that the main focus for traders is that all-time high. So if we do open and we have a gap and we can't close that gap relatively early, I'll start looking for opportunities to buy weakness in this market. If we reaccept inside value from yesterday, that'll lower my expectations for a long. And again, we've got some pretty recent activity to the upside here. Are we gonna see some profit taking at some point? Would make sense on a Friday. Let's take a quick look at gold this morning. Okay, we're still in an upside digestion market state. We've got a healthy trend line here at the bottom. We've got our top of the channel here. Tested the low of the channel here, this trend line yesterday. We're still really just kind of where we've been all week. There hasn't been any directional activity. Short time frame control. Volume and open interest had a pretty decent increase yesterday. Pretty decent volume yesterday, and an increase in open interest of approximately 5,300 new contracts. So money is coming in. Seems like it was a kind of a recovery off of the late spike to the downside, or the early spike to the downside, I should say. Really, just kind of short time frame controlled. There's energy coming in that increase in open interest. Direction unknown. Okay, so here's the 30. I'm going to point out, when we're in short time frame control, short time levels rule. Look at the weekly range we've had this week. Here's our weekly low. Here's our weekly high. But these green lines are naked points of control from last week. And we've basically traded straight to the one higher here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, down to the naked point of control back there, finding support, and really just remaining range bound. What does it mean for us today? Well, we're getting perhaps a little bit short here early in the session here. Settlement is all the way up here at 1896.40. Put that on your charts. We've opened outside of value, but inside of range, approaching a previous area of rejection down below here. Are our shorts going to get nervous and reconcile? If they do, they tend to reconcile in mass, and we could see an opportunity to see price back up here in a relatively target-rich environment. We've got settlement, we've got point of control, we've got value high, and the high of yesterday's range. So you're just going to try and stay patient because we are in range, yet outside of value. And I don't see any urgency really right now to jump into anything in gold. Euro, what happens in gold seems to happen in the euro. September contract again today. Still in rollover, still rollover rules. Day 6 really in kind of an area of balance here. We did open with a gap. We're going to have to see that on the 30-minute chart, though. We did extend the weekly range to the downside here last night. So, this is getting relatively cheap for this area of balance. We've got last week's low not too far down below, which might provide a decent opportunity for us. And the 30-minute chart. All right, so settlement is up here, 121.94. We've got some pretty substantial overnight inventory that is leaning to the short side. How do we know that? Well, we had a little bit long here. We've come back down through settlement, and we've been pretty directional since the London session open, telling us that, yeah, we've got some aggressive sellers probably holding some shorts, and they're probably shorter time frame, weaker hands traders. They're looking for continuation to the downside. They're not getting it yet. It appears as though our opening range is still the low of the session. That low of that opening range is 121.46, and I don't think we've come back down there to penetrate that level. So this is an important level. It offers opportunity. It offers a cheap opportunity because the low of the session so far, the extended trading hours, is down here. It's a cheap opportunity down here to see if we can catch our direct competitors, our like-minded, like time frame traders, short in the hole here. You might get that move back to, well, we did open with a gap. We've closed the gap, so that takes gap rules away, at least for now. So this looks like a kind of a decent area for an execution. And a brief look at the 10-year, and we'll get down to business. Volume was pretty good yesterday. Pretty decent volume, I'll have to say. We added only 6,000 in open interest on really kind of a breakout to the upside day. So the open interest, not necessarily all that gratuitous, but pretty decent volume on that move. It's really just kind of accelerating the upside structure that we've had since back in April. How far is it going to go? The yield is off a little bit this morning, so that's going to add a little bit of resistance to the upside. Is it time for a pullback? Well, it very well might be. I'm always leery of that on Fridays. Here's the 30-minute chart. Okay, no gap remains. If we open with a gap, we close the gap. If we accept inside value, that could bring a move all the way back down to weekly kickoff low or value low from yesterday. We need to find acceptance in there, and acceptance is a subjective term. Is it time? Is it momentum? Is it volume coming back inside the value area from yesterday that is going to mark acceptance? So far, no sign of true acceptance. We've taken a couple of looks back inside value from yesterday. We don't have any overnight inventory. The market has already reconciled any longs that were in short time frame from the overnight session all the way back down to settlement. So, this is a kind of a pivotal area. We've got settlement, we've got value high from yesterday, which is the high of yesterday's session, which the gap was just closed. So I'm going to be monitoring for signs of acceptance. Now, when I first learned of this special situation, it was always 2 30-minute bars had to close inside value when we open outside of range to mark acceptance of previous day's value. In that case, when we do find that acceptance, there's a probability that the market will move through and perhaps even all the way to the other extreme of the previous day's area of value at some point during the session. So it's all a matter of correctly assuming that value has been reaccepted from yesterday, that price has been reaccepted in value from yesterday before we can really start to look for this move to the downside. No inventory, nothing going on there. So, this is just a kind of a monitor, wait and see. If we spend some time inside value, that may mark its reacceptance and a move perhaps back to the downside. It's a pretty decent range yesterday in the 10 years. So if that does actually play out, it would be well worth it because of the size of the range that we had yesterday. So, yeah, VJ is talking about volume in September. ES is already higher. Yes, you should be trading the September contract this morning. It's good to see you, Dr. VJ. We've been mentioning that this week, that switch day was yesterday in the equities, and that I would certainly be trading September today. So thanks for the note there, VJ. All right, I'm going to call this a forecast. Take my deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative in your trading today. It's Friday. Let's make a little money and call it a week. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm going to get some rest, get a few things done, and hopefully do something nice for somebody else. Maybe we should all do that. Be good to each other. Stay healthy. Have a great trading day today. I'll see you Monday morning for the market forecast. And God bless us. Trade well, everyone.